So what I'm doing right now is watching a how-to YouTube on the KitchenAid. My KitchenAid was not working properly, so I decided to call KitchenAid, the company, and they told me that there was nothing they can do about it because they do not do maintenance. They always hire that out to something else. So I decided I was going to just go on YouTube and see if I can take it apart and find out what was wrong with it. Maybe something was just out of place. I didn't know. So I found a YouTube video, YouTube channel, Mr. Mixer. And he does a couple videos. It's a two-part video on KitchenAid, taking it apart, cleaning it up, looking at all the gears, greasing it back up, and doing all the stuff for normal maintenance of your KitchenAid. So when I started tearing the KitchenAid apart, I started seeing a lot of damage. So a lot of the parts pieces that I have, the gears are completely just, the whole thing just, there's big chips and stuff out of it. So I knew that these parts needed to be replaced, but I didn't know where to get the parts. So again, I call KitchenAid and they tell me there's nothing they can do. So Google. So I started Googling it, found basically a diagram that had all of the parts pieces names. And I don't remember what the parts piece names were, but it was essentially this part and this part here. And these two gears go together and they cause it to turn. This goes in the housing, and this goes down to the piece that attaches the batter and the whisks and stuff in the bowl. This piece goes into the top where I use attachments for grinding meat, making like pastas, different pastas and things. I have a lot of attachments that I use my KitchenAid for, and I absolutely need this working. So I thought, you know what, this is probably going to be super expensive. So when the machine started failing, I thought it was going to be $150, $250 to get it fixed. And had I taken it in, that probably would be the case. But taking it apart myself, looking at YouTube, trying to figure out how to do it myself, I was able to get it taken apart, cleaned up, just by following the instructions step by step in the YouTube Mr. Mixer. And it was super easy. Well, almost. There was one part. So there's this little clamp ring. Let me put it over here so you can see it. I don't have the tool to take this off. So this was quite a pain in the butt getting it off. But I used what I had, which was little pokey tools and little pokey pliers. Don't tell Wes, I was in his shop taking parts and tools out of his shop, which is actually my garage right now. But basically I used these two pieces to be able to pry this apart to be able to get it off of the part that it was on. So I was finally able to get it off. The tricky part is probably going to get it back on. But I was able to get it apart. I found a diagram. I was able to find the parts piece, thinking, okay, well, each part is probably going to be $50. No, it was 15, and that included shipping. So I bought replacement parts. So I don't have to put the broken ones back in there. I have brand new ones, which I'm super excited about. And it came with a gasket for the transmission housing. So I'm going to be able to throw this old one away and use a brand new one, which I'm super excited about. Now I'm wearing gloves because I also have to grease it. Now I'm not advertising any particular brand because I don't know which brand is good. All I know is this is the style of grease that I need for the KitchenAid because it's food grade. So I'll be using this to grease the KitchenAid and get it back up in running condition so that I can start making bread again. I miss my bread. But I can't do that unless I have my KitchenAid. So that needs to get done. So with the new parts and the new grease, I'm able to put my KitchenAid back together again, which it's been several days because after I bought these parts, I figured out that I was going to need grease. So we're putting it back together today. And with that, I am basically watching the video because on this particular part, these two little pieces here came off and I'm not sure what direction it goes back on, either this way or this way. So I gotta watch the YouTube instructional video and figure out which way it goes back on. So I'm gonna watch the video real quick and figure out how to put that part back together.
Washer back on there. Now you can tell these washers actually have a little beveled edge. You want the bearings to sit inside that bevel because one side is flat. So make sure that you're sandwiching it between the bevels. Just like that. Then we can go ahead and slide this bearing on. Perfect. Now it's ready to be dropped into place. Now we're ready to drop this worm gear down into place here. There we go.
Oh no. So I'm missing a piece on my worm gear. So there's this washer, and on one side of the washer there's grooves, and on the other side it's flat. And I'm missing one of these washers because this, I don't know what it's called, goes in between the two so that it can move and rotate because the little balls in there are movable. So that's what helps them rotate. But I am missing one of these washers. So it looks like I'm not going to be able to finish putting this together today until I get a new washer. That sucks. Dang it. Found it. I am so happy. You have no idea how happy this makes me. So basically what it was just kind of stuck on here. So as I was washing off this piece, it was just stuck on there. And I thought it was just a ledge on that part. So, oh, I'm so happy. Yay! So my worm gear is all put together. All the parts are still here. Oh, thank goodness. So we're going to start greasing this up and getting it put back together so I can actually use this. I miss my bread, really miss my bread. All right. And this is why I'm using gloves, because you gotta like stick a lot of this stuff in there, which is great. Well, sort of. It'll keep it working. But the last grease was nice and black and gross from the metal shavings. So now I know. I didn't know before. You don't know what you don't know. So I didn't know that you're supposed to maintain these on a yearly basis. But now that I do know, I know that everything's gonna be taken care of a lot better now that I know. All right. Now also up inside here, as I put this back up in here, this spot right here needs to be greased. There's teeth in it that cause this gear to move all the way around. And it doesn't need a whole lot for this part, but it definitely needs some. Now remember, this is food grade grease, so if you're doing this, don't put the crap that you get on your car up in here. That's kind of gross. All right. So this piece goes up in here, up in here, up in here. Okay, sorry. Okay. All right. So with that in place, there's this little pin that goes in, and it just kind of slides in. And now everything's in place. I don't have to hold it here, which is great. Now we need to grease this all up, because this is one of those gears. It needs to I feel like there's a lot of grease, but this is what he did in the video, so it just seems like a lot. Now what I'm doing with moving all of these little pieces, parts, is making sure that all the way around all of these gears is greased up nice and good, because I don't want to miss anything. Not after what I've seen with the damage that has been caused from bad grease and bad maintenance, really. So that's my fault, bad maintenance. But now that I know, I know. All right. Now, there's this piece here. I can get it open with my greasy fingers. So this is the replacement for this one here. And if you look close, you can see all of the damage on this one on the right compared to the brand new one. So all of that's been shaved off. So we'll put this right on top and make sure it sits right in there. So there's a dent in it, and you can see where the straight lines are versus the curved lines, and the protrusion on the bottom piece fits right inside. And more grease. Oh, actually, let me do this first, because this is where the pin, or the little slip clamp goes on. If I can get it right. Oops. There we go. So, there, perfect. Just had a little finagling. All right, so this is going to be a little difficult. That was so much easier than getting it off. Oh. That ain't gonna work because my hands are so greasy. I'm slipping right off. All right, we're gonna fast forward through this and I'll get it put in place. Voila! Okay, that's in place. So now, this is kind of a floating gear. So it just kind of sits on this side over here and it floats in place. So I'm gonna get this all greased up. Yay! All right, so the new gasket goes on the transmission housing before we put it in place. Oh, first time's a go. Look at that. Oops. All right, and this piece here goes right inside the housing. That's where all of my attachments get turned. Right through there. And then the housing goes, if we can keep this on there. I need like more hands to do this. And of course there's a little electrical panel thing right here with all these little attachments and gizmos and gadgets, which by the way are very technical terms for electricians. Anyway, so you don't want to hit that or ruin that, so definitely want to get that in place without ruining the electronics. All right. Do I have any extra parts pieces? No, we're good. If you have extra parts, you're missing something. All right. So now we have the need for a Phillips screwdriver that I don't have in here. I'll be right back. You know, it's really handy to have a man that's very, very organized. Seriously, he has everything, like labeled and all. It's great. So you know where everything's at. The problem I have is putting it back. The problem he has with me is me not putting it back. Anyway, let's get this put into place. Oh, that's not gonna work. It's too small. Yeah, I'm gonna need a bigger screwdriver. The head's not big enough. All right, let's see if this one works. I guess I could have taken the screw with me. Works just fine. I like the ones, and Wes has them, that are magnetic. So it holds the screw in place while you're working with it. Ha-ha! All right, once we get the housing in place, I want to test drive it, just so I know it's working. All right, are we ready for a test run? Cross your fingers. Oh, listen to the sound of that. There was clunking last time, and it wasn't smooth. It was clunk, 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 clunk. That's nice. All right, so now that I know I have everything, okay, now we can put the cover back on. I'm going to clean this off real quick. So in preparing food with appliances, food gets into pretty much everything. So it's always good to clean it. All of it. All right, so there's 4 screws around the outside that you put in place before you put the decorative ring around it. And really that ring is really just for decoration, so you don't see all of the screw holes. Now we can put the decorative ring in place. Install the screw that holds it in place. Cinch it down. One last check. And there we go. So, fix the KitchenAid, and I just touched myself with greasy fingers. Basically, you can do it too. Basically, everything's on YouTube, and whether you like YouTube or not, you know, because of all the stuff, censorship and things, it's such a useful tool. There are so many things that I have learned from YouTube because people put out free information to help you along, and it's invaluable. So KitchenAid is fixed for the amount of $8 for a tub of grease, $15 for my parts, and my time. So really less than 25 bucks and I have everything fixed. All right, well, that was today's project. We'll see you again next time. Bye.